Imagine waking up one day and everything you remember about your life is gone. Your home is different. Your job never existed. Even the people you love have no idea who you are. That's exactly what happened to Lisa Carter. One morning, she woke up in a bed that wasn't hers. The sheets were a different color. The furniture was rearranged. At first, she thought it was just a dream. But the more she looked around, the more she realized something was very, very wrong. Lisa reached for her phone, searching for something familiar, her boyfriend's number. But when she dialed, the robotic voice sent a chill down her spine. This number does not exist. Confused and panicked, she rushed to his apartment. But when the door opened, a stranger stood there. "Who are you?" the man asked, eyes narrowing. Lisa's heart pounded. "This is my boyfriend's apartment. Where is he?" The man shook his head. "I've lived here for 5 years." Lisa felt the world spin. 5 years? That was impossible. She'd been here just yesterday. Desperation clawed at her as she ran down the street, dialing other numbers, friends, family. But every call met the same response. No one knew her. Breathing heavily, she hurried to her office, praying for something familiar. But as she entered the building, dread settled in her stomach. The company's logo was different. The receptionist gave her a blank stare. "I work here," Lisa said, forcing confidence into her voice. The woman frowned. "I'm sorry, miss, but I don't see your name in the system." Lisa clenched her fists. "That's impossible. I've worked here for 3 years. Check again." But the woman only shook her head. Lisa backed away, her mind racing. What was happening? Desperate, she ran to the nearest internet cafe and searched her own name. Her fingers trembled as she hit enter. Nothing. No records, no social media, no news articles. It was as if she had never existed. Tears welled in her eyes. How could this be happening? Had she lost her mind? Was this some elaborate prank? Or had she slipped into another reality? That's when she noticed something even stranger. The world around her looked off. Buildings were the same, but their names were slightly different. Street signs had unfamiliar fonts. Even the air smelled different, subtly, but unmistakably. Lisa needed answers. She went to the library, searching old newspapers. If history had changed, surely she would find proof. But as she flipped through the pages, her blood ran cold. The headlines were wrong. Events she remembered happening, tragedies, elections, even celebrity deaths, had different dates or had never happened at all. It was as if she had stepped into a world almost identical to hers, but not quite. And then the nightmares began. Every night, Lisa dreamed of a place she had never seen before, a dimly lit corridor with no doors, only whispers in the dark. Each night, the voices grew clearer. "You don't belong here." She would wake up drenched in sweat, gasping for air. But what terrified her most wasn't the dreams. It was the feeling that someone or something was watching her. Lisa knew she needed help. She found a psychologist, Dr. Evelyn Marks, a specialist in memory disorders. But after an hour of questioning, the doctor leaned forward, her eyes filled with something Lisa couldn't quite place. "Lisa, tell me," Dr. Marks said slowly, "are you absolutely certain you're from this world?" Lisa's breath caught. "What?" Dr. Marks sighed, choosing her words carefully. "You're not the first person to come to me with this story." Lisa's pulse quickened. "You mean this has happened before?" The doctor nodded. "Not often, but there have been cases. People who wake up in a world that feels off. Similar, but not the same." Lisa gripped the arms of her chair. What happens to them? Dr. Marks hesitated. Most of them eventually forget. They adjust to their new reality. Their old memories fade, and they move on. Lisa shook her head violently. No, I can't just forget my life, my boyfriend, my job, everything I knew. There has to be a way back. Dr. Marks pressed her lips together. Some believe there is. Lisa leaned forward. Tell me. The doctor hesitated before whispering. The corridor. Lisa's stomach dropped. The one from my dreams? Dr. Marks nodded. It's not just a dream. Everyone who remembers their past life sees it. And if the whispers are calling you, it means the door is still open. Lisa swallowed hard. Then how do I find it? The doctor exhaled. You have to go where the fabric of reality is weakest. Places where time and space feel off. A town you've never visited but always felt drawn to. An abandoned building that gives you déjà vu. Somewhere that feels like a memory even though you've never been there.